All right, so this week, new series. Um, we are going to talk about healing, and not in the, when we say healing, we usually think somebody's sick, right, and needs a healing. We'll get to that too, but we're going to talk about healing in a little bit different light in three aspects of our being. So there's um, three parts of us, basically spirit, soul, and body, or body, mind, which is emotions and thoughts, and our spiritual side, to say it a different way. So, all aspects of us, um, if we've been alive for very long, need healing. So, to heal, the definition of the word is to recover, to make healthy, whole, and sound, and to restore. So those are all the aspects or concepts around the word heal. And healing is a restoration of the entire life system of us. So
Oh,
I'm going to mute you all.
sorry.
That's okay. My bad. So healing, so we've been growing and we've been learning that we have a choice over our thoughts and our responses, and um, that we can retrain how we feel or how we think to affect how we feel to produce better outcomes, right? So, as we become aware of our nature, our divine nature, our God nature, our spiritual root of our existence, then we notice that healing is actually a steady transformation into our God self, our awareness, our consciousness, our authentic self. So we're going into a restoration of us back to our awareness of being, or the spiritual part, the eternal part of us. Um, all the other stuff is um, concepts and things that we've been taught, like we've been talking about, perceptions, um, all of that is not necessarily authentic or authentic to our spiritual being. So healing is a return or a restoration, um, transformation from one thing to the next, to wholeness, to soundness, to health. So it's the entire system that, and our way of being in our journey here, that will require healing. And healing is a day-to-day experience too. We just tend to narrow words down and use them over and over. So when we think of healing, we think we're sick. Um, we're just not always sick. We just need healing from how we're thinking. So, um, so to recover and to restore and to become healthy, whole, and sound, we have to be committed to the process. And the 8-part series we went through opened the door to us being committed by us realizing that there's so much more um, within our control, and so much more of us that we didn't realize existed, and the access to grace, and that we can actually live in grace. So we are looking for a restoration of the whole system, and we're going to start today in the spiritual, because it's basically um, spirit, body, mind that we're living with. So this spiritual healing is becoming healed or aware of the myths, ideas, beliefs, and interpretations that we have about divinity, about God, about the universe. So, um, because we have been taught or been exposed to through everything around us, society, myths and ideas and beliefs or interpretations of God, we have a very small view of God and therefore a small view of ourselves. So some of the myths or ideas are that heaven punishes us, that God punishes us when we're bad or we're not performing or we're not living up to whatever perception that we have created about what we should be doing or what humanity should be doing. Basically, all of the rules and regulations that if we're not good, whatever good is, that when something happens to us, that's heaven punishing us. Uh, that sickness is a gift and is given to us so that we will grow. um, it isn't, but that there's a concept out there. And most of these ideas and concepts about around that are human. A couple people did not get an invite. Okay, real quick, invite them. All right, coming back to where I am. So our perception of the universe of God is, at least what I came out with, is that there's a lot of fear around it. That the universe is way out there. If there is a God at all, it is out there, and that we should fear it because if we don't behave right or um, come come land on our path or something like that, that we're going to end up burning in hell, or we're going to bad things are going to happen. So we have to heal from our fear of God and our concept of God and God being separate from us. And when I say God, I mean every name: universe, divinity, awareness, consciousness, however you want to call it, the being. uh, that's what I'm referring to. Um, we have to heal from the image and belief that a God is separate from us. God isn't separate from us. Um, we're drops out of the ocean. We are God. We were created by God, therefore we are God. We are just smaller, on a smaller scale. And um, we have to heal from our concept that we're being judged and that there is black and white according to our thought. So what's wrong and right for each one of you will be vastly different. So we cannot package God up in a small box out of thoughts in our head and teachings that we received. And we have to heal from our idea that we're alone. We're alone on this journey, and hoping that we'll get some kind of message or some kind of nod from up there or out there. We have to heal from our idea that our actions don't affect everyone, and our actions and our thoughts affect the whole, and we've learned that we're all connected. So we have to heal from our concept that we are in a self-absorbed life, that I'm just living my life and I'll do whatever I want, and it's just me doing it and has no effect on anyone else. It absolutely does. So we have to heal from our separateness from each other and our separateness from God. And and that allows us to heal from our judging of ourselves and our small thinking about um, life, our eternal life, and the universe. So we have to heal from losing sight of our personal uniqueness and expression. So we live in a society where um, everyone's following and doing the same thing, right? Um, Everybody has to buy a house, has to have the same house, the same style of house. They're all painted gray, right? Everyone has to have granite on every counter. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying think for yourself, right? It's like if you don't have this and you're not doing that, if you're not following what's been being posted out there, then somehow something's wrong with you, or somehow you're different. That we are all different. We are all supposed to be so unique and so different in our expression. And I mean, we might all like a brick house, that's totally fine, but know what you like and why, right? And um, because when we get out of our realm of who we are, then we're following the energy of a crowd. We're not really following our own self. I mean, I am in the process of looking for housing, and I mean, people are walking in, waiving inspection, overbidding, and I'm like, I wouldn't live in this, right? So, and if something's going to happen, and they're going to be sitting in there wishing they hadn't done that, because they're following this big race, right? So when we lose sight of our unique expression and the divine um, within us, moving through us and into the world and all around us, that's the whole point of our life here, is to be unique and to have a unique expression. And so we need healing from that, from holding ourselves up against other people. We need a healing from um, the ignorance of our spiritual power. We're creating all the time. And what we do makes a difference. We are God with a little g, right? So we are creating continuously. And when we have such a sense of separateness, like I said, healing from our separateness from humanity and the earth as a whole, and healing from our separateness of God, that God's way out there somewhere, um, then we start to become united in our thought process, and we start to become really united in our energy flow. We're all part of the whole. So we need a healing from there's no one way, one path, or one method to seek and find God. God is speaking in a million expressions on this planet to many culture, every human. We all are different. So a different story is appealing, or a different expression speaks to each one of us. So there's not one path. We're to find our path. If you want one path, that's the one. Find your path and you'll be okay, right? We're all created equal in spirit, and we all have eternal life in us. And the goal is to heal from the separateness of that, and begin to live from a place of eternity, and a place of global awareness of God as a whole, us within that sea, and all of our fellow fish that are in there with us. So we are in a process of awakening which is transformation, which is a healing. Transformation is a change from one way to another, to another. So how do we do that, right? How do we do that? So we have to have a plan and we have to work the relationship, right? So if we want to have a deeper relationship, we want to understand who and what we are on a deeper level. We want to really massage that connection with spirit. Then we have to have a plan, and we have to put our soul's journey above all else. It has to have a priority, and we must be willing to do the work, and we have to show up and do it. But how it looks for you and me and is going to be different, right? Similar but different. So it's like a diet or a financial goal. Make a plan, work the plan, right? With intensity, right? So what's your goal? What's your spiritual goal? What do you desire spiritually? How do you see yourself in 1 year, in 5 years? How do you see yourself spiritually? Not your human goal, not your human goal, not your business, right? Who we are and how we live in the world doesn't matter. It's how we're going to be expressing that matters, right? I was listening to this book, and they put it in such a great way. They're like, figure out what brings you joy. If helping people brings you joy, then choose something that allows you to help people. If it's teaching, if it's being a doctor is going to make you feel like you're helping people and give you joy, then the how you do it is not as important as that you're doing it. So figuring out what brings you joy, what excites you, makes you feel weightless in life, and then pick something that allows that to happen through you, right? Allows it to happen through you, because we are our expression. Our unique, beautiful expression, that's what we are. When we decide what it is we're going to do, we do it, and then we are expressing our energy, our joy, our spirit self through that work, like an artist and a painting. You look at a painting and you feel the artist in the painting. It's the same with our work. So we're a spirit and a body. So our spiritual expression isn't separate. It isn't like we tend to think of our spiritual relationship or spiritual walk or spiritual journey as being something separate that we're doing, and then we're over here doing this. We're one and the same, spirit and a body. So everything that we're doing is on that journey. Everything. So write that down. What's your goal? What's your spiritual goal? What is the desire in the relationship, with your spirituality or with spirit, or with God, however you want to look at it, right? And challenge every time there's a box come. Oh no, or you have fear when you think about God, or think, why do I have that? Where's the root of that? When I in my teaching, I tell people we are God, right? It took me a long time to be able to say that without twitching, because we're taught that if you get lightning striking you down if you think you're God. We've learned from teachings that the original words that the Bible was written in are so far off from what we actually have today, which has been through several cultures, several languages, right? Rewritten by people. Things are not, uh, you have to go back to the beginning if you want to know what was said at the beginning, right? So, and that's where we get these concepts that God is punishing us, or we need to fear God, or we need to fear something in life. We don't need to fear anything. That's the healing that we need. So, and we get there through making a plan. Okay, so here's my goals. So in 1 year, I want to be closer to, farther down the road in this aspect, right? In this aspect. Okay, so what do you have a plan? Not how are you going to walk it out, but do you have a plan to spend time sitting across the table from spirit and looking in the mirror? Do you have a plan to be a willing student of your own life? We're not dealing, and I'm not talking about trudging through the past. The past is over. We're not in the past, we're in the right now. If something in the right now is holding you up from moving forward, and it's there because of some event of the past, we're still in the right now. So deal with it right now and move on, right? Deal with it now. So, we set our spiritual goal, we make a plan of how we're going to grow. I'm going to 3 days a week, I'm going to spend time, or I'm going to read a book that's going to expand my inner vision once a month. Like, these are ways that we can become aware of a different view of eternity, a different view of spirit, of God, and then take in new data. So, we open to another view. And if something inside you is saying, oh, that's evil, oh my gosh, question that. You have a spirit, you have intuition. Tell spirit, I want to know more about you. I want to see you in a different light. I want to open to another view, another facet of you. And then as things come across your path, go, is this it? Like I said before, I wouldn't have ever done anything with crystals before. I asked a question and I immediately, when I got the name of the thing, the stone, I went and got it and brought it into my life. And I heard another voice of God, right? Another voice of God, another way to have a conversation. Reading, I can't share enough with you, but like the prayers of the cosmos is that one, he's translated from the original Aramaic, really is enlightening. This will give you a new concept and a new idea, and will challenge you about your current ideas, if you have any, about who and how the universe is, right? It's all about love. There's nothing negative there. We created that. That's why we need a healing. Once we begin to open, to make a commitment and make a plan, open up to another view, open up to another way to have a conversation, expand our horizons, allow the universe to open our eyes more. We have an inner spirit. We will know if we're hearing, oh my gosh, if it's from up here or down here. Like, we know it's built in. But try expanding in that way, and then journal journal how things are shifting and changing, if you're on track. You know, we spend a lot of time building every other aspect of our life, and then we might read a book or meditate. But there's a whole world there. The creator of the universe is right there at the table, wanting to share, like wanting to love us, wanting to have conversations with us. We need to be healed from thinking that's not true, right? Or that we have to go in with petitions. We could just go in and be, and we'll be guided into the answers that we need. We'll be guided, and we don't have to beg for stuff. We'll be guided into the answers. We'll be guided in the direction that we need to go. And we will begin to really respond to and feel the deep, passionate love that is there for us, that's within us, that's here for us, and that we have tons of help on our journey. So to recap, the first aspect of healing is spiritual healing, and it's allowing ourselves to be open to challenge, and to heal from myths and untruths about the divine and about the universe, that we need to heal from how small we put God in a box and put ourselves in there too. And we need to heal from that concept. We need to heal from the concept of fear. We need to heal, most of all, from the concept that we are separate. We are separate from our creator. And we're separate from humanity and the earth and the universe. It's impossible, if we're one with our creator, to be separate. What we do matters. And it's our responsibility to take responsibility for our spiritual growth and our spiritual walk. It's not going to just fall down on us. We have to step into it. So, and then we need to set the goals, open up, and work the plan. And then you will find that just like when you decide you want to be friends with somebody and you set aside some time and you get to know them better. And then you're like, oh, I didn't know you had that hobby, you know? So, and then we feel bonded, right? We feel bonded based on the time that we spend, and we feel confident and we get an inner truth when we spend time with the divine. And so that's the spiritual healing, bringing ourselves around to being front and center in the right now, face to face. So any thoughts or comments about that? Okay, I'll wait a minute. I've been told before that I don't wait long enough.
I have a question.
Mm.
I'm wondering, so why have we been taught all of these years the opposite of what you've taught us today?
I'm not the only one teaching this, by the way.
No, I know. No, not to
I'm
single you out.
Because when you put man in charge of teaching, or in charge of religion, you're going to get different teachings. You're going to get different, depending on what's going on at that point in time in society, in the world, in the culture. You'll get leanings that way or the other. We are all equal, right? Male and female. God is both male and female, yin and yang. So are we. But the Bible was written at a time where women were really less than. That's really not true, but that was what was happening. So I always say go to the source if you if you want to know the truth. What really opened my eyes a lot, and I've spent a lot of time studying the Bible and was very conflicted about stuff in there. And then I really went into 5 different concordances and looking up the Hebrew and different stuff, and you come up with a different concept. This Jewish guy who breaks down the Lord's Prayer and the Beatitudes takes you through word by word, and there's so much love that the divine is pouring out and has been pouring out from the beginning, and the concept just came through man. If that, I don't know if that helped.
It did. Thank you.
um, it's always been about, we are individual, unique, eternal spirits, light, and we're flowing through eternity. And this moment on earth is a moment, 1 year, 100 years, whatever it is, 120, whatever we get, we're flowing through and evolving. But the relationship is eternal. It cannot be contained on the earth in a book. When we start to get that, um, we really are held in the presence and heart of God, because we are a shard of light off of eternity. It's only love, always love. You're not going to reject a piece of yourself um, and cast it into a lake of fire because it doesn't say a specific prayer. That doesn't even make sense when you say it out loud. But I mean, if God is everyone's equal, what about people, who never going to get that concept? So all inclusive, equal. And that's why we need a healing. And we need to stop being afraid.
That is very profound. It is.
Mhm. I had a dream. This was maybe 10 years ago. And I dreamed that I was climbing this mountain, going up this mountain trail. And the universe was speaking to me. And I was like, okay, just a second, I'm going to repel. Okay, I'm not that person. And I went to repel off of the cliff. And there was a couple points that were stood out to me, but there was zero fear within me, zero. It was profoundly quiet. And I was like, I'm just going to do this and then I'll be right there. And it struck me, we don't have to have any fear ever. This is how we should be. And that became my goal. That became my goal. So we get spoken to in dreams and vision. You'll know if it's a God dream. You'll know there's a difference. But that struck me. There was no, I was completely present. I was joyful. It was completely quiet. And there was no fear whatsoever as dangling off the side of a cliff. So um, we all have a really special path. And when we begin to heal from what's made the path small, narrow, hard to find, hidden in the brambles, that's what we're healing from. So that we can surge forward and have the joy and the beauty and the bounty and do the good work that is built into us, the stuff that brings us joy. Alrighty, so we're gonna do a pronto meditation because we're going to. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath, of course. um, Relax. Feel yourself sink into the seat. Relax into the seat. Feel your body relax. Allow it to relax.